Now, this is a multi-block structure, so I could build this normally, or I can simply copy and paste it right here. What? Oh my goodness, look at this huge tower of dragon eggs. I have fought the Ender Dragon so many times to get this whole thing right. What is this thing, you might be wondering? It is the automation of the Ender Dragon. Hello everybody, welcome back to some more Oceanblock. I have upgraded my draconic armor right here, so now I have myself an orange force field. So yeah, it's really good. But back to the automation. So, as you can see here, I've done some things in the end because I wanted to try and at least semi-automate dragon hearts, because unfortunately block placers don't actually work on end crystals. So what I've done is I put a mob fan right here so that when the dragon tries to perch, it just gets pushed up so that way it can't actually go down there. And then this thing right here, which is a mob crusher, is crushing it inside of here, thus killing it and then sending it dead. I also have a bunch of fans around this thing so that way it can't approach it and destroy it. I did have that happen. Then once the dragon dies and then the egg is dropped, that sensor right there will detect if there's an egg in that block right there, send out a redstone signal, push it in the piston, and then it goes away. And then these item collectors are what collects all the things into here. And everything that is not a dragon heart or a dragon egg goes in the trash. It's very nice. And now, for the demonstrational purposes, let us go around here and I will show you all exactly how it works. Show, don't tell, and all that, even though I already did a lot of telling. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Oh yeah, and while that's going, I also made myself a draconic bow, just for reasons. I just wanted to, I don't know why, but I mean, it looks sick. Like, look at this thing. It has infinity on it, too. Up, there we go. The particles have approached, so it will now begin to perch. Is this thing on? It is on. Okay, good. I also have another redstone transmitter and receiver here, so that way I can set this thing up manually from down here, so that way, once it works, we should be okay. So there we go. It is now in the vicinity. It is now dying, and soon enough, there we go. It is dead. So now I need to turn this off because for some reason it can't die until it's within a certain position. It's very strange. I don't know, but yeah, though, that's the whole automation. It all works out pretty well. And now we have ourselves 31 dragon hearts. I need 95 of these for something. And that something will be for the tier 8 of the energy cores. I currently upgraded this thing to tier 7, and for warning, you will need to make 36 of these energy core stabilizers and then make a whole formation. So it's just a lot, but yeah, now this thing can hold 2.14 trillion OP. It's very nice. Now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, we can now get on to today's plan. And that is going to be preparing for the reactors. Now, we don't have access to this yet because we do still need to make a few preparations. One of these preparations is going to be automating sodium, which is how we're actually going to cool the fission reactor when we get around to it. So in order to make sodium, we're going to need to make these things called the thermal evaporation system. And for that, we're going to need quite a few things. So for the main controller, we're going to need 5 of these, which isn't that complicated. Ah, crap, I'm gonna need steel. Good thing I have all this automated. Yay! Then we should have everything, and now we have the controller for this thing. And then after that, we're just going to need to make... We need 2 ports. Alrighty, so there we go. Now we have the bare essentials for this thing, being a controller and 2 of these ports. And then we're going to need quite a few of these things. I don't really remember how much this is going to take. I think it needs to be like 5 by 5? Wait a minute. I remember now. It wasn't 5 by 5. It was 4 by 4. Okay. That's good. Okay, good thing that I remembered that. So then we have that basic one right there. Yeah, that's right. Yes, I'm remembering now. I haven't done this since early FTB Skies, so, you know, it is quite a bit. And this is just for the smallest size of this, mind you. I can make this thing go about, like, 18 tall, I think. So then we can just go ahead and put that there, put it like this, and yes, that is exactly what we needed. Okay, so now we have ourselves the smallest thermal evaporation plant. So what this thing is for is it can make 2 things. The first thing it makes is brine. You know, it's a very special thing. It converts 10 millibuckets of water into 1 millibucket of brine, so it takes a bit. And then it can also convert that brine into liquid lithium, which is used for a lot of other stuff. It also occurred to me that I actually needed 3 of those evaporation valves, so I already put that in. So then the next thing that we're going to need is going to be this recessive heater, which actually isn't that expensive. I'm just going to need to make myself 2 of these alloys, and that should be everything I'll need. Now, there's 2 ways that you can heat this. Well, actually, there's 3 ways, but I'm going for the simplest way, which is going to be to put that right there, and then that would heat this thing in here. Oh crap, I forgot. I can only access it from this point here specifically. And what's really neat about this is you can actually set how much FE a ticket uses, and the more that it uses, the hotter this is, which then speeds up the production of it. Although it is depicted by how many tiers this has, so I think right now 40 FE a tick should be good. We're also going to need a few of these mechanical pipes. They aren't hard to get. It just takes 2 steel and then a bucket for the basic one, which then makes 8, and then you can just convert those to the higher tiers with each of the alloys. So it's really not complicated. So then after that, we can go ahead and then take this pipe along here and then send it up there. And do I actually have the thing that I need? I think I don't, actually. I mean, that's not a problem. What we are going to need is this thing right here called the configurator, and it does take power, but again, that's not a problem because anything that's in my inventory right here will charge. And then we can go ahead and then convert that to the fill one, and now it should start going into here. Yeah, it's filling up quite nicely, and we're already making the brine. Fortunately, though, brine is a fluid, so we should still be able to take it out with these basic pipes right here. So the next thing we're going to need to make is an electrolytic separator. I think I might already have one, though. I do. Okay, that saves me some time. Place some power right. No, not right there, actually. That's a really bad placement for it. We can place it right here. And there we go. Now this one should be fully powered. And then all that's left is to set this thing to output. And now it should start making, yes, it's making sodium and chlorine. So then we can go ahead and then put that to dumping access. Just so that way that will get rid of all the access stuff that we won't need. There we go. So yeah, the sodium is good because it acts as a way more efficient coolant than water inside of the fission reactor. So that's why we're preparing this. But we're preparing this early for a specific reason because we're going to need quite a lot of sodium. I won't spoil how much we're going to need, but it is going to be quite a lot, more than we can actually contain. So we are going to need to do something very special with this. We're going to need to convert it into liquid sodium, and for that we're going to need this rotary condensator. So then now what we can do with this is we're going to want to put it on the side that has the output 1 on it, and that would be the left side. Okay, so then we'll put this here, and there we go. Now it's taking in the sodium and converting it into liquid sodium. It should be a 1-to-1 ratio. I could be wrong, but it should be that 1 millibucket turns into 1 millibucket of that. First, we are going to want this to be powered, so we're going to need to put a little pipe right there, so that way this thing can also absorb the power. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, then. And how are we doing on the brine generation? Looks like it is actually draining. Alrighty, after a little bit of tweaking, I have successfully managed to equalize it. So this thing is permanently at 1 sodium, and this thing is permanently at 2,442 millibuckets of sodium. There we go. That is good. So yeah, it's a slow generation, but it should work out just fine. So now that we have the liquid sodium, what we can do is we can actually convert this into fluid tanks, which can hold way more. But we want a very special fluid tank, and that one, it's not that expensive. It just takes steel, and I really don't like making steel. So the thing that we're looking for is called the dynamic tank. It holds a crap ton of fluid. So then we're just going to need, we're going to need a few buckets. Okay, we should only need 6 though, because we'll only need to make this thing 6 times. And yep, there we go. Then we can use 4 of those things to convert into the 2 dynamic valves. And there we go. Now we have almost everything. Now this is a multi-block structure, so I could build this normally, or I can simply copy and paste it right here. What? Yeah, I should have looked at this thing. It says I needed 96 of the tanks. I'm stupid, but now we should have everything we need. There we go. Okay, so yeah, this 5x5 one, it holds 2 billion millibuckets, which is really good, and we currently have 10,000. It's not as good as it could be, but it's good nonetheless. So then once we hook this baby up, does this thing take out? It should. I just need to make absolutely certain that this one is output, so that way it actually works. Once I convert this thing properly, and there we go. Now it's all starting to go in. Great. So once we reach a specific number of this stuff, we will be ready to build the reactor. Of course, we are going to need other things first, but I mean, at least now we're going to have the coolant ready. The next thing that we will need is going to be the fissile fuel, which admittedly is going to take a little bit of doing. There's like a lot of automation to it, but I've already built that twice on the channel now. So, I mean, I'll probably build it quickly, and then I'll like run over it real quickly for all of you.
1 hour later.
Alrighty, and now for the grand reveal in 3, 2, 1. Behold! Oh my goodness, look at this. So, what we have here is going to be the automation of several chemicals. I haven't put power into these things just yet, but once I do, all these things will start. So let's start from back here. What we have back here is this thing right here, which is a network receiver, which basically acts as a wireless transmission from my refined storage system over here, so that way we can bring some of the stuff into here, being a lot of the essences, so that way we can start auto-crafting a bunch of the things, which then gets sent up into here to a lot of these. Now, 2 out of 3 of these things did have former generations over there with all of my sluicing and stuff like that, so I set up another ender chest to take those things out and then put them into here. And then all of those things are then going into their proper placements. So let's go ahead and then put those things right there, and then we just need to turn these on, and now they should start obtaining power. Okay, so what we have here is we have the sulfur dust being converted into something called sulfur dioxide. And then we have water over here, which is being split up into hydrogen and oxygen. And those things are coming together, making sulfur trioxide. The sulfur trioxide then goes up into this next chemical injection chamber. So this one is having the sulfur trioxide and water vapor mixing into sulfuric acid. We are getting the water vapor from decondensating water over here. Then that will go over into here with the sulfuric acid and mix with the fluoride, and then that will create hydrofluoric acid. And then that should go up, but it appears like I have missed quite a few things. And yeah, there we go. Now the hydrofluoric acid is going in here, mixing with uranium oxidite, creating uranium hexafluoride. The uranium oxidite is getting from over here where the uranium is getting turned into yellow cake uranium, which then gets converted into that stuff. So now all that's left for me to do is going to take this thing up into here, which will then make the fissile fuel. The fissile fuel will then go into this ultimate chemical tank, which will then go into this quantum entangloporter, which is basically like a wireless transmission of a bunch of different things, which will then be taken over to the reactor once we need it, which will both of these will act as holdings for that. It's not generating as much as I would like it, but once we start to put upgrades into all these things, it should be faster. The most ideal scenario is going to be about 50 millibuckets a tick, but right now, I can't exactly tell how much it's going at, but it is going pretty well. So yeah, this is basically the most basic form of this setup. A lot of it is really just going to be trial and error when you're like setting all these things up. So if you ever want to make a little setup like this, yeah, this is kind of one of your best options for the most compact, at least with this mod pack. Now, I do want to make sure that I'm good on power. It does look like I'm good on power. That's good, because this whole thing is for me to help make power, but if I can't sustain it powerly-wise, you know, that's kind of a problem, because I need to start preparing these things early. But since I put those tier 1 upgrades in there, it should start doing better. And yeah, we're still got power. Okay, so we're still good. You know, that's great. I think we've done some really good things here. Oh my gosh. So yeah, now we've got ourselves the sodium, which is going to be being prepared. Well, at least the liquid sodium, which we will then have to convert back into normal sodium before we use it. And now we also have the fissile fuel, which is good. Now, we won't be doing the reactor really soon. Ideally, I would like to do it as soon as I can, but this whole thing is going to need to be tweaked a little bit. And we are also going to need to find a proper placement for it, because if it blows up, it will be very bad. So then let's go ahead and then collect everything. Oh my gosh, we got quite a few things. What did we get? Ooh, we got a black hole unit. Oh, that's nice. And then I dropped a ring. What is this ring? I got a jetpack again. Are you serious? A ring of correction. Not sure what that does, and then this thing actually holds items. Honestly, we got quite a few good things from this one, and you know what? I bet you that we're gonna have some more goodies in the near future. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my last Oceanblock video. Bye-bye!